What if the more you explain, the less likely people are to buy? Today, we're talking about 7 simple questions that can transform sales conversations, your leadership, your parenting, and even your friendships. Because the best salespeople don't convince people, they help people convince themselves.
Hey, lady bosses, are you working even after putting the kids to bed but still not getting results?
Are you tired of spending money on ads that aren't getting engagement?
Do you feel burdened that you aren't fulfilling your purpose in life because you are so consumed with work?
I'm your host, Brooke Boltz. I'm an attorney and founder of Boltz Legal. I started my business and in 1 year was bringing in 7 figures and am now bringing in multi-7 figures.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel Boltz, owner of Boltz Media. I've helped many businesses build their online presence and increase their revenue through digital marketing.
Want to hear how we did it?
We are here to help you achieve your goals personally, professionally, and spiritually.
So kick off your high heels, sit back, and let's ignite that passion.
We're Miss Biz, where we're putting the Miss in biz.
Let's get biz done. Michael Pantalone, a psychologist at Yale University, spent years studying what actually changes human behavior. His research led him to a surprising conclusion. The moment you start giving people reasons to change, they start thinking of reasons not to. So instead of becoming a better persuader, he became a better question asker. Have you ever had a salesperson who just wouldn't stop talking?
Oh, yeah.
They had another statistic, another feature, another reason you should buy. And what did you do? You mentally started building your defense. I've heard of this called the default no. Consumers look at things with a default no. And so in your mind, as they're talking, you're thinking, this is too expensive. I don't need this. I'll think about it. Our brains hate being controlled. And there's a fascinating psychological principle called reactance. And it says that whenever people feel someone is trying to control their decisions, they instinctively push back.
I see that with my kids all the time. Yeah. You know, I feel like this is something like we are innately born with. So it's very interesting to see it brought up in business, and it makes perfect sense because if you think about as toddlers, we tell 2-year-olds, don't touch that. And what's the first thing that they want to do? They want to touch it. And adults aren't much different. We're just more polite about it. The more that somebody feels pushed, the harder that they're going to push back. And that's why great sales conversations don't feel like sales. They feel like discovery.
It's interesting because even if I'm originally leaning towards yes in purchasing something, if the salesperson is too pushy, I will change my mind and not purchase it because I just have that ick.
Yeah, I've done that with vehicles before where I really needed to get a new vehicle, but somebody was just a little too pushy and, made me wonder like, well, maybe that's not a good car if he's trying to sell it so hard.
Right.
So why might you want to fix this? If you notice what isn't happening, you're not explaining your product. You're not listing benefits. You're asking for theirs. And this is completely backwards from how most people sell. Imagine that somebody walks into a gym wanting a membership. Most trainers immediately launch into, we've got state-of-the-art equipment, free classes, smoothies, childcare, instead instead of asking, so what made you decide to come in today? Now the customer has the opportunity to say, well, my doctor told me that my blood pressure is too high, or I want more energy, my daughter is getting married, my kids outrun me. So guess what just happened? They just gave you their buying reason, not yours. And people believe their own reasons far more than yours.
Yes. And this is a much better tactic in starting conversations with people. But one of the questions that is similar to this that I have used at networking events is, what brought you here today? Why did you come here today? And it's similar to, why did you come to the gym today? What brought you to the gym? And it opens up a deeper conversation about their business and what is motivating them. And instead of just the surface level, here's what I do and here's what sets me apart.
Yeah, exactly.
Finding guests for a podcast can be difficult sometimes, so Brooke and I wanted to let you guys know that we are available to appear on your podcast.
We also enjoy speaking at events, so if you have an event coming up, these jingles can go on the road.
Simply go to missbiz.com/contact, and in the subject line, write podcast guest or event speaker, and we'll reach out to you to...
There's something called the IKEA effect. So here's something fascinating. Behavioral economists discovered what's called the IKEA effect. People value furniture that they assemble themselves more than identical furniture that was already assembled. Do you know why?
Nope.
It's because people place more value on things that they help create. And the same happens in conversations. When customers build the case, they value it more than if you build it for them.
This reminds me of, have you seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding movie?
I don't think so, no.
So there's a scene in which the women of the family are trying to convince the father to allow the daughter to go work for a different one of their companies. But because she's a woman, he envisions her being in this one specific role, but she wants to do something different. And so the wife is like, we're going to have to make him think it's his idea. And she says, the man is the head, but the woman is the neck. And they go through this whole thing. They're like, she has this problem because I wish I had watched it recently, but our so-and-so is having this problem because they need extra help. And so he's going, well, what about this? And they're like, no, that will not work. And then he's like, well, what about this? No, that will not work. And then finally he's like, well, what about if our daughter goes and helps? They're like, yes, that's it. And he comes up with the idea. And so then so that's what this is talking about. You know, if someone else comes up with their own idea, then they feel good about it. They don't question whether they were persuaded into something that they didn't want to do.
Yeah, because they're part of the decision-making process.
Right.
It's the same thing in B&I. If you want people to improve on their stats and be higher quality members, you put them in leadership, because then what happens is they become part of the pack. They become part of the team. They're in it, and therefore they feel more committed to the success because they're directly involved.
Right. Similar when I'm talking to someone who's contemplating whether to hire me as their lawyer for a home insurance claim. It's like, okay, let's look at the options. Your insurance company has denied you. So you can accept that denial and continue on with $0, or you could hire me as your lawyer to help you to fight that and potentially get you money to make your repairs. And then, of course, you could hire another lawyer if you choose to, but that's not usually the issue. The issue is usually just, do I want to hire a lawyer or do nothing? And so you present them the options. Do you want the option that continues to give you nothing, or do you want the option that has a great chance of giving you something? And then they make the choice.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So question number 2 that you can ask is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how ready are you? And that may sound strange, but here's why it works. Normal questions produce automatic answers. Are you interested? Sure. Maybe. I'll think about it. Those responses require almost no thought, but asking for a number forces somebody to pause. A 6, an 8, a 3. Now they're actually evaluated. Now they've actually evaluated their own interest.
I love this because when we say, well, how does that sound? Are you interested? Whatever. You can tell that there's some hesitancy if they say, I need to think about it or whatever, but you don't know how hesitant they are. Right. And asking them to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 really gives you an idea of, are they a 2 or are they an 8? Right. So you know how hesitant they are to know, what your next step should be.
Yeah. So same thing in marketing too. I think that's a great question that we can start incorporating just to see, is this something that you're interested in 6 months from now or like next week?
Right.
So question number 3 is, why didn't you pick a lower number? Obviously this is going to be if it's, above what they said it was.
Well, above a 1.
Yeah.
It's above a 1 or a 0.
But this actually might be the most brilliant question of all, because it let's say that they answer, I'm about a 6. Most people immediately ask, what would make you a 10? That's a huge, huge mistake. Now you've invited them to explain everything that's wrong. So you want to ask them, why didn't you say a 3? Now they have to explain why they're already interested. They'll say things like, well, I really need to do this. I've been putting it off. I know it's time. And without realizing it, they're making your sales presentation for you.
Yeah. I really like that too. It's the power of positive thinking.
Yeah.
When you ask them a question that gets them to talk positively about your product, then they're listening to all the reasons to move forward. Do you love the Miss Biz podcast?
Because we love you.
Here's 3 things you can do to show your support.
1, write us a review. Apple, Spotify, and Google My Business are the best platforms to write a review.
2, follow us on social media. Our handle is @MissBizPodcast.
3, join our Facebook group, Miss Biz Nation, for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes footage. Also, ask questions related to your business and discuss topics from our episodes.
So, lawyers know something similar to this. If you ask a witness, why should the jury believe you? They'll become defensive. But if you ask what happened next, then they simply tell the story. Good trial lawyers understand something important. The jury doesn't like being told what to think. They want to reach the conclusion themselves, and customers are the same.
Now, imagine that... Okay, so question number 4 is, imagine it's already handled. What's different for you? This question is powerful because now you're moving into the future. Notice you're not still describing the future. They are. Maybe they say, I'd finally sleep through the night. I would stop worrying. My business would grow. I'd have more time for my family. Now they're emotionally living inside of that outcome. And that's stronger than hearing you describe it.
Right. Right. That's the difference between me saying, if you had this product, here's how easy and great your life could be. Or if you hired me for your service, for this service, then you wouldn't have to do it yourself. Like, that's me telling them what to imagine. But if they're imagining it themselves, then it's that much more real to them.
Yeah. And saying it out loud too is huge. So question number 5 is, why does that matter to you? This is where the conversation gets real. Someone says, I want my business to grow. You ask, why does that matter? They may say, so I can hire more people. And why does that matter? So I don't have to work every weekend. It's kind of like when we were talking about the different levels of communication and some of the techniques that Sean Callaghan teaches in Unblinded. So by asking a lot of these questions, you're getting into something much, much more deeper than just what's surface level. So now we've gone from maybe potentially wanting software to now wanting time with family. And then that's their motivation.
Right. Sean Callagy says that the answer they give you is never the real reason that they're interested or not interested. And so by just continuing to ask, well, why does that matter? Why does that matter? Why does that matter? They just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper until you get to the real core, true motivation. So
there's 5 ways. Toyota became famous for using something called the 5 whys. So Toyota became famous for using something called the 5 whys to solve manufacturing problems. So instead of fixing symptoms, they kept asking why until they found the real cause. People work the same way. The first answer, like Brooke said, is rarely the real answer. The emotion is buried underneath 2 or 3 more whys.
Yeah, my 6-year-old is really good at this strategy. Why? He's in his why era.
Love it.
So question 6 is, so it sounds like you'd want this because. So now you simply hand them their own words back to them. Not your pitch, their reasons. People feel heard. And when people feel heard, they start to trust you. One of the biggest communication mistakes people make is listening just long enough to respond. Mm-hmm. Great communicators listen long enough to summarize.
Yeah, that's huge. There's so many people that just are having conversations and aren't even paying attention to what the person is saying. They're thinking about their rebuttal or their response. So listening is a superpower. It's a skill. It takes a lot of practice, but it can make a huge difference in your communication with everyone around you. So question number 7 is, what's one small step that you could take? And this is another brilliant twist. Don't ask, so are you ready to buy? That's huge. Instead, ask, what's the next small step? Maybe it's rescheduling another meeting, reading a proposal, talking with a spouse, trying a demo. Psychologists call this reducing friction. Once people take one small step, the next one becomes much easier. And that's so true, because things can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes.
Right. Especially if you've got something that's expensive or requires a contract or a big commitment. Sometimes people just aren't ready in that moment. But rather than just saying, well, we'll be back in touch with you when you're ready to, or we're going to keep following up with you, or whatever it may be, you're still asking for a commitment, but it's a smaller commitment. It's what are you comfortable committing to as the next step?
Yeah. So this isn't just sales too. So here's what we love most about Pantalone's research. These questions work almost anywhere. As a manager, instead of saying you need to improve your performance, you can ask, what would success look like for you? As a parent, instead of saying you need to study harder, ask, what grade are you hoping for? Then, why is that important? Now your child gets to own the goal, not you. Even in marriage, instead of defending your position, ask better questions. People don't resist being understood. They resist being controlled.
There's a quote that's often attributed to Dale Carnegie. A person convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. I'll say that again. A person convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So whether or not he was the first to say it, the idea captures something important. Winning an argument doesn't necessarily change a person's mind. Michael Pantalone's research reaches a similar conclusion. People don't change because of your reasons. They change because they discover their own.
So, your challenge of the week, the next time you're about to explain why someone should do something, stop. Instead, ask one question, listen, then ask another one, and you may discover something surprising. The less talking you do, the more likely people are to move, because people rarely argue with conclusions that they've reached themselves. And that's the difference between selling and helping someone make a decision they already wanted to make.
We appreciate you and are honored to be on this journey with you. We can't wait to help you, to encourage you, and show you how to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually.
If you found Miss Biz helpful, please leave a review and share with others.
You can follow us on social media at Miss Biz Podcast.
For legal questions or services, please visit boltzlegal.com.
And for digital marketing needs, please visit boltzmedia.com. Let's get biz done.